Today we're back in Warhammer the Old World and we're looking at a miniature reveal. Now when I first saw this article I thought it was just a reboxing of some of the old Chaos Marauders into like a discount box. But when I clicked on the article and I scroll down, I thought these are all brand new models. 40 Chaos Marauders and you get 10 Marauder Horsemen. These are going to add reinforcements to your Chaos Warriors army, which are quite an elite low model count army. Getting a few of these guys adds builds the model count. You've got a few more options tactically. Just from this picture here, these are lovely models, aren't they? You've got some weapon options on the Marauders here. So you've got flails over there, you've got hand weapons and shields. These look like great weapons. I love these little pieces of terrain over here. I wonder if they're going to come out as a terrain kit, because these look very similar, or whether these are just scratch built. So you can obviously have them in 4 units of 10, 2 units of 20, or maybe one big block of 40 Marauders, and same with the Marauder Horsemen. 2 units of 5, maybe 1 unit of 10. They've got some weapon options too. Let's have a closer look. These are lovely, aren't they? They're full of character, very barbaric, a bit like Vikings. I know they are raiders from the north, aren't they? They're from the frozen wastes of Norska. And Norska is obviously fantasy talk for Scandinavia of our world. So they're evil Vikings. Were Vikings good? Were Vikings bad? It all depends on your point of view, doesn't it? If you're a Saxon, then you probably think that Vikings are bad. If you're a Viking, you probably think that you're good and what you're doing is okay. Options for a champion, a standard bearer and a musician. He's playing a drum there, got a skull as the stick, lots of furs, lots of pelts. I really like the design of these. They're sort of standing very imposing. I can imagine if you put this model next to another like man-sized thing, they're going to be much taller, much stockier. And I think they've got the proportions right with these models. Really nice to get new models for Old World, because the fantasy is the game I started with when I was a kid. I just like the models lined up with the square bases. Makes me feel very nostalgic. But all of these look different. I don't know whether they're going to be like 5 different bodies or 10 different bodies, and then you can change the heads and the weapon options. But they all look very different. It looks like there could be lots of possibilities and lots of choice, so no model will look the same. Even though there's different colours with each of these models, they all still feel unified, you know, with their design. They've all got the pelts. Even with the pelts are different colours, I just think they've done a really nice job to tie them all together. If this is your faction, you're probably very pleased to get some new models, rather than lots of people probably thought, oh, we're just going to stick with the old Marauders. But no, you've got some new Marauders. The old Marauder Horsemen weren't that old compared to the infantry. I don't know whether they're going to keep those and rebrand them as a different unit, because I'm pretty sure they had some ranged options where they could throw javelins and whatnot. It's going to be a big contrast to your existing Chaos Warriors, and this is a point that I wanted to bring up, is that I'm not a big fan of mixing the old with the new. You'll be able to see how old the old models are and how new the new ones are, if that makes sense. I love old models, don't get me wrong, but I would much prefer my whole army to be old models, so it all kind of looks right, you know? So I don't know how these are going to look next to the old Chaos Warriors, because they're quite an old kit, but we'll have to see. If you play Warriors of Chaos for Old World, let me know what you think about this. And when you get the models, you can see for yourself if they work out for you. Got a nice mix of helmeted heads and bare heads. Lots of great expressions, lots of great beards. I know I talk a lot about beards, don't I? It's probably because I can't grow one and I'm just jealous. So here we go, let's talk about the weapon options. So these guys got the flails here. Up here we got the hand weapons and the shields, and they also have an option for the great weapons, which I showcased here at the top. So 3 different weapon options, that's quite nice. Let's have a look at the horsemen. They've got options for a champion, standard bearer and musician, and they can also have the flails, and I think the other option are the spears. These are nice models, aren't they? They're nice too. There's not a lot more extra to say about them. Again, it'll be interesting to see what they look like next to the knights that they have, because these have got to be a little bit smaller, they've got to look smaller next to them, unless they're planning on making new Warriors of Chaos eventually and getting rid of those old models and making them even bulkier. But we'll just have to see, because you want the horses to look a bit smaller, you want everything to look a little bit smaller, just so you can see how impressive and what truly devoting yourself to the Chaos Gods does. It makes you bigger, it makes you stronger. You've got other worldly powers basically, because these are just the mortal servants of the Chaos Gods. I know the Warriors of Chaos are to an extent, but I just feel like there should be a bit of a distinction between them, that these are the light skirmishers. They're going to do a lot of the dirty work in the army, and you keep your Warriors of Chaos to do the important stuff, you know? I definitely prefer spears with cavalry. I just think it looks cooler, you know, and a lot of what's important in this hobby is the rule of cool. I know it's a bit of a cheesy expression, but you've got to go with the rule of cool. I just don't, the flail's not my weapon of choice. And they've done a really good job of making these horses look angry and evil. Before, it's kind of like give it the pointy armor and all the skulls and the chains and everything just to bring it chaosy, but they've actually made the horses themselves look evil. And they've got some decent poses. I mean, it's hard to convey motion with horses, isn't it? Well, making them not look ridiculous. It's great having a dynamic pose. I need some solid contact with the base, otherwise it becomes a bit trickier to put them together. I know they're standing on rocks here, so we'll see how tricky it is to glue them to the bases. But I just like a bigger contact point, because when you're traveling around with these in your case, you want to ensure that they're not going to break in transit when you're going in between games. I mean, it's not going to be as big of a concern if you're just painting them for display, but this is from a gamer's perspective. Not that I'm a gamer, but I'm just talking about a gamer's perspective. You want to kind of future-proof your models so they're not going to break. I think a lot of people bring glue with them just in case little bits are going to snap off. But it'd be nice if they were designed in mind of transportation. A new Arcane Journal, so you can have rules and different ways to play your army. This is lovely to see. It's lovely to see Old World getting new models rather than just bringing out the ones that they cancelled when they switched from Warhammer Fantasy to Age of Sigmar. A lot of factions disappeared for a while. Bretonnia and Tomb Kings were the big ones to disappear, and they're all coming back in this setting. Let's talk about some of the other new models. The Tomb Kings, they got new Royal Heralds models, so you've got options for a Battle Standard Bearer and a Tomb Prince, and these are all interchangeable, so you can either have your Battle Standard Bearer on the horse or your Tomb Prince on foot. It says right here 3 right and 3 left arm options that are all interchangeable, which is nice. And I like this kind of box where you get foot and mounted, and they also got a new Leech Priest in the same style, so foot and mounted. And it's kind of an insight into the future. I assume at one point they're going to update the Skeleton Warriors and the Skeleton Horsemen for Tomb Kings, so they have this nice Egyptian styling to their horses with all the nice barding and everything, rather than just plain skeletons, which it was essentially the same kit for both Vampire Counts and Tomb Kings, and the only thing that differentiated them was the Tomb King shields, because the spears and the hand weapons were the same for the skeleton infantry, and then obviously they got the option for the bow and arrows, which was different because Vampire Counts didn't have any ranged skeletons, they just had normal skeletons. Any old Vampire Count players, if you'd like some ranged options, or are zombies and skeletons not good at shooting missile weapons? I suppose not having eyes doesn't help, does it? But yeah, these are cool models. Skeleton vulture on the top there, it's quite funny. I like those little elements like that. What would you like to see next? If you are a fan of the old world, let me know in the comments section down below. What models do you want to see next, and for what faction? Or do you want to see a brand new faction like they did for Grand Cathay? Would you like to see Nippon, which is Fantasy's version of Japan? Would you like to see some of the other factions brought back into the world? I know they've stated that they're focusing on a certain area and a certain time in the old world, but would you like to see Lizardmen and Skaven and Dark Elves? would you like to see Chaos Dwarves? I mean, Chaos Dwarves are back, but in Age of Sigmar, and they're kind of trying to make them different to the Chaos Dwarves. If you enjoy these model reviews, again, let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, share this with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.